Hey guys, welcome back. So today I want to go over a few statistics on the unemployment, who's letting people go, what organizations besides the federal government, state, city, whatever. We have charts to look at both sides of the story to see and put one and one together to see where we actually stand as the economy in the United States right now. I just recently came off watching a video about the Canadian increasing their tariffs, electricity that they're sending over to the United States. Of course, they don't provide electricity for the entire US, but they do provide electricity for certain states. And those states are going to get hit with a 25% increase in electricity. Can you imagine that? I definitely have never gotten a 25 increase in my salary. And if anything was to raise 25%, which we have probably seen within the last couple of years, coming out of the pandemic and where we are now, prices within the last 5 years has probably more than doubled, from real estate to groceries to anything that you normally would buy, cars, necessities, toilet paper, anything, right? So with that being said, I wanted to show you guys exactly what I'm looking at. So this is layoffs.fyi. I actually sorted this by the United States. You can sort it any which way you want by country. And then I also uh, kind of filtered it by the most recent layoffs and going down the list. Okay. So that put TikTok at number one, laid off at 300 employees. And then we have the next one, Hewlett Packard, at 2,500. But then I also want to make a note here. Hewlett Packard at number five had already made another cut, 2,000 in February 2020, February 28th, and this was only a few days ago, March 6th. So in combined unemployment for Hewlett Packard is 4,500 employees. Okay, now there's a lot of other companies here that I'm not familiar with. Rec Room, there's actually no number, but then they have a 16% decrease of employment, meaning they cut 16% of their staff. But there's no actual numbers here, so I'm a little confused about that. Grubhub, I'm familiar with 500 back in February 2028. Google has, they're here, but there's nothing, there's no numbers here. They probably might show up at another location. I'm trying to look and see. We have Redfin, which is a real estate, 450 employees. We have Meta at 3,600. That's 5% of their workforce from the San Francisco Bay Area. And then we have Wise. I don't know if that's the potato chip brand. No, I guess not. It says finance, so I guess not. JustWorks, I'm familiar with that one. That's 200. And yeah, that's so much that's going on right now with the unemployment. So again, these are not federal jobs. These are all private companies that, retail, support, whatever it is. And there is the sources where you can read up on who has been let go and why they're letting go. I mean, there's a lot of factors and why that would be. And of course, the list continues on. We have AMD that let go 1,000 employees. LinkedIn let go around 202 employees. We have, let's just see, I'm scrolling down just for like being intrigued. Now, this is going back to 2024. So this is October. We haven't encountered everything that we're going through now with the administration and all these different talks about tariffs and the Doge. But I do want to show you another section of this where it's the federal government layoff. And this is everyone and anyone with the federal agencies that have been affected by the Doge agency that, basically went in and started cutting all these different positions. Forest Service, I don't not too familiar with what that is. Department of Agriculture laid off 3,400 people. So that's 3,400 American people that worked for the federal government that were laid off. And that's not even all of them, right? Because every agency, for the most part, has been affected by all this, right? Department of Defense, 5,400. Can you imagine the people who are supposed to be there to protect us around the clock has laid off this many people? I mean, just to think about that, like 5,000 people, like if you ever went to like a huge concert with like thousands of people, can you imagine all those people not having a job all at one time? That's like, it's scary, guys. It is really scary. We have Department of Education. They lost 60. Now, I don't know how I mean, the Department of Education is pretty large as far as the state ran, and then it trickles down to the city, federal, state, and then city. Of course, there's a lot of different positions within that. It doesn't say what percentage of that, but it is very scary. Department of Energy, also 1,200. So again, these are statistics, these are numbers, these are all recent. Now, my point of why I'm talking about all this is because I saw a comment that said, well, they don't agree with me that, you know, because the federal government is laying off, it doesn't affect the private sector. That's not true, because if interest rates are still at its highest, tariffs are happening, talks of like, you know, with tariffs and layoffs with the federal government, it's driving for the, you know, the general public like you and I. I'm not spending any money, that's for sure. And if we're not spending any money, if I'm not buying a new house or a new car or anything else, the market is not going to be too, you know, I guess not. It's not going to be, people are not spending money, right? And if you're not spending money, people are going to cut back. And that applies to across the board a lot of these companies. Now, when people start not spending for luxury or entertainment, yeah, there's going to be repercussions to that, right? The companies are going to realize, oh, we didn't meet our target this year, or we're not meeting our revenue. We need to cut people, because if we don't, we're not going to survive. And that's what's happening right now, and that's the sad truth. So what can we do about all this, right? Yeah, that's the tough part. What can we do about all this? And I'm going to leave it off here, is that another few comments came in, and it's like, I'm just getting into cybersecurity. What can I do? Should I even consider it, you know, based on the fact that what I'm saying and what's proven to be out there right now, people are getting laid off left and right. I've been through this before, during this, I forget what year or why. There was a lot. I just remember during the crisis, that 2008. All right. So the real estate crash, totally different from what it is now. But, you know, a lot of people were affected in the finance industry. Big banks, of course, you know, if you look that up, it did affect a lot of people. But luckily for myself, I was not in that industry at that time. I was consulting, running around doing help desk support. So if anything, I was making bare minimum coming out for the really first time in my early career. And I would say it didn't hit me. It didn't impact me. Not that any of this is impacting me also, but it's making me be more cautious about what I spend my money on. Okay. A couple years back, I would be buying, you know, $500-$600 GPUs. That's something I would not consider at the current market, the current time, because it's a lot of uncertainty, right? I need to reserve my funds for any type of emergency, because I do have a family that I have to provide for, and I do fear that I could potentially be impacted by this as well. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. And did I give a resolution as to what we can really do? You have to stay on top of things. Just because of the current situation does not mean you stop doing what you're doing as far as studying, understanding any of this, making sure that you line up your knowledge, your training, your labs, and if you can potentially get your certifications, still go that route. But don't, you know, get everything under the sun. Get things that are relevant to what you're passionate about. And the key thing is what you're passionate about. And that's what I want to share with you guys. All right. So to answer your question, the comment that came in, if you're watching this video, Should I continue doing cybersecurity, considering what it looks like now with the unemployment rates? Yes, if you feel that you still have a passion for it. If you don't, move on to something else. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you guys, and hopefully you can hit that like and comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys again really soon. Take care.